Hello. We're going to start in 2 minutes, so you can fast forward 2 minutes if I haven't edited this video yet, and you're seeing the replay. So I'm going to start at 5. It's going to be somewhat of a short entry. This is the next to last entry, so in 2 weeks it's going to be the very last entry of this channel. I might leave the musings of the drawing world uh, series going, but I'm not sure yet. So 1 minute to go. So getting ready. This is the next to last entry once again, and we're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Drawing World, Dimension 1243. This is John Carlos Artist, the drawing artist, and today we're going to be talking about surviving through art. Uh, Survival is not really associated with art in life in general, but art is a very strong resource for the survival of our minds and our bodies. Uh, so I've mentioned before the tunnel vision that we get sometimes, um, and how we search a certain art form, or just a certain creative way that we are following something, either somebody's, um, let's say somebody's career, or some sort of creative endeavor. Um, and and this tunnel vision makes us really engage our mind in a certain specific art that is talking about a certain specific thing in life. Um, think once again, think music, sports, and then in a big way, art as well. So if you're an art collector, um, of course, uh, for the money aspect, for reselling, of course, there's that aspect, but as well as finding art that is really like that really speaks to you, and you want to collect it, not only for the monetary value, but also for the way in which you admire the existence of said art. um, then hunting for art, or hunting for whatever relationship or experience uh, can bring us that tunnel vision, and that tunnel vision makes us forget about the rest of life, pretty much. Um, Say if you're thinking about some travel, some trip that's coming up, um, and you have your normal life, you have your age, whatever age you are, um, and you have your timeline. Maybe you're an adult. Maybe your youth is behind you. Maybe you still have a lot of years ahead of you, but your space in your timeline, your place in your timeline, your moment, and that's just general life. You just try to gauge where you are in general life, uh, but this tunnel vision really like takes us to the side, and makes us focus on something, makes us engaged so much that our lives are not put on hold, but it's just the general things in life are non-existent for a little while. uh and that's a great escape. So it's an escape from I guess the mortality of life. Because once you're in that tunnel vision, the only thing that exists are, collectibles, sports, uh, certain disciplines. It can be competition. If you're competing against someone, just different focuses on different aspects of life. So art does that in a big way because it is a reflection of who we are. And in a way, we feel like, well, it's not really turning our back away from life um, because it's still in within the same realm. We're still following the pathway of finding who we are, and in turn creating the life that we are on the mission to create in this world. Um, so so going back to the subject of why art is a very good resource for surviving more time on this earth, is also because if you see Maslow's hierarchy pyramid, if you've ever seen that pyramid, I think it's a generally used pyramid to show the necessities of surviving, the necessities of life. I mean, it starts off with breathing, eating, consuming foods, drinking, and then it goes into shelter, and at the very top of the pyramid you have um, creativity and art. So that's the target that we usually have. If we've gotten everything, if we've gotten our education in line, uh, then we see creativity, and creativity is processed and is made into art in whichever discipline that you want. If it's fine art, if it's engineering, computing, physical activity, any any discipline that you go into is going to have a science to it that it's simple to get into at the beginning. So things are just simple. But once you start going in further in, then you start seeing that there's a lot more to it. Um, it's like when you go into a cave and you don't look back. Uh, you might look back after a while, and the entrance is way behind you. The light is just getting smaller and smaller. That's the way disciplines are as well. So when you try to explain things to someone, as I said my very first entry in this channel, um, it gets complicated because even I wasn't ready to explain the drawing style that I was presenting, um, because it's very simple ideas, but then they get into your head and it gets to be uh, a little much to explain. Um, so taking into account the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, um, creativity being at the top. If you are an individual or a people or let's say a nation with some of the highest art of some of the highest um, science put into it, some of the highest procedures and development, some of the most developed. I mean, there's the term developed countries as well, right? So if you're a nation which has developed art, then you are more powerful than a nation that does not have any art or underdeveloped art. And you're showing it because you're showing, as a people, you would show it as um, you would show it as a development of creativity, meaning that you've gone through the whole pyramid. You've gone through Maslow's pyramid. You have shelter, you have food, you have health, um, you have resources. You've taken care of everything, and you've gotten to a certain point at a certain point in life, um, where you have the luxury of creating, of being creative, of having a population that has the luxury of being creative. Yes, sometimes these creatives are exploited. Sometimes they're not. There's I know there's different situations, but in general, um, a nation which has a rich and developed art and creativity is proving that it knows how to do certain things. It has gone through levels, um, and in turn, the people have more of an identity, and that identity uh, helps them survive uh, physically because they have other things already taken care of. Um, if the art is not of the current era, if it's not like modern art in in that nation, within that nation, then it may be ruins, but still you get an identity, especially if it's a little bit more recent, if not too much time has passed and the people have not, developed or mixed or anything into a whole different newer people, um, then the identity will be high. The relationship will be high with the developed art, um, and that in turn gives people the need to survive. Because if you don't have things that you feel are essential in your life, then there's not much to live for. These things are, well, art takes a big part in that. There's relationships, um, pride in whatever you're doing or what you are, and what you're not, of course. And certain other things, events, moments in time when you're you're waiting for certain days. Like, it's not every day that's going to be the same. Like, if you're just working, if you're stressing out, or you feel that those days are just not never going to pass, then it's then there's not much to look forward to. And even if you are here physically, mentally you might be somewhere else, away from this world. So it's these things: relationships, others, things you see, your visuals, your perception. These things really help you find meaning in what we're doing here and what we're creating. So a little abstract of a subject today, um, but it's important because the audience has a certain responsibility as well. Talking about relationships, there's a relationship between the artist and the audience. Without the audience, there's not that depth for the artist to reach. Um, the audience or the client, whatever you want to call it, art collector, is going to transform the art with their identity, the identity of the art collector, together with whichever art or art collection that they possess. They together form a different entity. Uh, it really transforms into something else. It's like It's like an offspring kind of. Um, so don't think that it's just the artist just producing and the art collector um, just receiving every creation. The art collector puts their person into the collecting, and and it's a symbiotic relationship where something new just comes out. So this is the next to last entry, as I've said at the beginning. Um, let's do the deep breath. Once again, inhale on one, exhale on two. Ready? So, as I've said before, the transmission from the drawing world will be no longer. Um, as you can see, it's lights coming in now, as opposed to the very first entries, and that means that the drawing world is moving into a different part of the universe. Um, the normal dimensions are kind of not as strong here, and it's not really. It doesn't really serve a point. It doesn't really serve a purpose to uh, to have a transmission from the depths of the universe where the drawing world is going now. So, but we still have one last entry. So join me in 2 weeks. It's going to be the once again the third week of the month. And but April is going to be it. Um, stay tuned for the musings from the drawing world. I think that will remain. So until next time.